Welcome, everyone, to the Real Whovians cast. I am your host, Lauren 212, and I'm with Scott. What's up, Scott?
Greetings and salutations.
What's up, Hayden? Oh,
I guess that tells us how he's doing.
what's up, bro? Hello?
He's speechless for being on the Real Whovians. Or
We're having a bit of a issue here.
Okay, let me pause it. All right, what's up, Hayden?
What's up?
All right, so we got a huge rumor for the 13th Doctor. So why don't you tell us, Hayden?
All right. Well, I don't like to speculate, and I'm not telling you it's all here to listen to what I have to say. Like it's the most truthful source ever. You know, I'm not anyone special. I'm not huge in the reporting game or the scooping game. You know, I hear things here and there from people who I find quite credible. And you know, they've picked a lot of things in the past that I've generally found to be quite interesting, and they've panned out to be true. If you remember, I actually did a whole video on John Hurt being some sort of former doctor or mystery doctor back in 2013, way before the name of the doctor came out.
Yep.
And that video years ago on an old channel had 50,000 odd views, and this is back when I was a modern age nerd. But you know, so I hear things now and then. And for a long time now, a couple months, I've been hearing a particular story that I've been quite excited about. I'm sure you guys will get a lot excited about it. As I'm saying, don't get way overexcited about this or blow it out of proportional comments saying it's bullshit. You know, I'm just going to put this out there. I've been possibly hearing things, and they're starting to come into fruition a little bit more than what I previously expected them to at this point. Now, just for a reference point, we all know the other day Russell T Davies came out and said that he knows who the next Doctor is. Yeah, so I'll just leave that there for now. But if we jump back in time a little bit, though, Doctor Who was at its peak all around the world in 2007 and 8. That was when Doctor Who was starting to reach everyone around the globe. And reruns of the seasons that aired during these years have now found massive successes and are generally the most rewatched episodes of the show in terms of syndication and streaming. They found that Doctor Who series 1 to 4 are actually the most popular in terms of Netflix streaming. And in terms of demographics, that was when the show really hit its main sort of young adult and mid-20s to 40s audience. Now the show is mainly hitting with 9 to 12-year-olds and 40-plus-year-olds. So it's kind of a weird demographic now. So BBC, obviously, they're not getting the numbers that they used to get. The show, for a while, they tried to kind of sell it out to America by doing a lot of episodes over there. They really wanted to push it on BBC America to some success. But the show is finding as much success in terms of its reruns with previous episodes with the 10th Doctor and his companions. So when it was announced that Chris Chibnall was going to be taking over the series in 2018, a lot of people thought, you know, what is he going to do? What's going to shake the show up? What is he going to do to try to get the show back to its glory days? Because as much as all of us Doctor Who fans still love the show, all the Whovians love the show now, and we still love Peter Capaldi, the BBC wants to sell the show to as big a general audience as possible because at the end of the day, that's how they make their money, through advertising, which comes through large viewing figures, which was at its peak during 2008, 2009. And whilst Matt Smith's era did have a lot of success in Britain, overseas it wasn't as well received. And, you know, Matt Smith would have been a nice choice to come back as a Doctor, but he is very busy doing other projects at the moment. And they wanted the show to go a little bit further back than just jumping back 3 years back in time. And, of course, Stephen Moffat is very protective over his characters. Let's just say that much. So that wasn't going to the question at all.
Probably wouldn't want Matt Smith to appear again.
Yeah, it was kind of you know, Moffat's ego, his characters are his characters, and all that sort of stuff. So that's not going to happen. Not ruling out a Matt Smith guest appearance in the next 2 years. I'm just saying, you know. And we also know that last week they actually announced Doctor Who would be on TV until Series 15 at the minimum, which will take us through to roughly 2023. at the earliest, even, because they could spread it out with specials and whatnot in the off years.
Yes.
But yes. So basically, keeping all that in mind, let's just say, hypothetically, the new showrunner Kris Chibnall, he was formerly known as the showrunner on Broadchurch, and he really likes to plan things out a few years in advance. He had 3 series planned out from the beginning. So basically, Kris Chibnall knows what he has in mind for the next 5 seasons, and they have basically had their new Doctor in mind as starring in the show for the next 5 seasons. Now, keeping in mind what I said before, that Chibnall worked on Broadchurch, very close friends with the main star of that show, and Russell T Davies is very involved in the new series of Doctor Who. He knows who the new Doctor is, and that's not because it's Kris Marshal, even though Kris Marshal may or may not be involved in the new series in a guest supporting role or something along that manner. The thing that we're really hearing over here, that I'm specifically hearing, is that star of Broadchurch, Mr. David Tennant, may in fact be the next Doctor next year, in an attempt to revive the show to its glory days and get back a lot of lost viewers and get the show back to a more darker, more uplifting, and more accessible tone for all audiences. So there you go. The big rumor
So now
is
we were talking off air, and you said that he's going to have a new haircut, a new suit, and he's going to have a beard. Possibly.
If you're aware of the film Fright Night, which David Tennant had a supporting role in that film, Tennant was a bit of a drunk. He was a bit of an open, hairy-chested, bearded, long-haired yahoo. He was a bit eccentric.
Yes.
Dark nails and whatnot. We're not going that gothic, but let's just say it'll be more of a hipster kind of vibe with a lot more, kind of hippie vibey kind of.
So he's not exactly the 10th Doctor, but he shares the face, but he has a different personality. Possibly?
More or less, if this pans out and what I'm hearing is true, the Doctor will be the 13th Doctor. He will have a similar face because it's the same actor, but it'll be a similar personality, but it will be a little bit darker, and it will have more moments of more manic episodes. So there'll be more kind of crazy moments and little bits of Matt Smith's odd quirkiness thrown in there at times.
Okay.
And more of Tennant's dark Broadchurch kind of brooding in kind of, that ambiguous tone of...
Like Purple Man type of thing, like, Kilgrave, a little bit in there?
Yeah, a little bit of weirdness thrown in. It's going to be more...
So, the Curator is an older version of the 4th Doctor, but he's not exactly the 4th Doctor.
No, he's not. The Curator's... Basically, from what you'd take from that scene, the Curator could be the 100th Doctor.
Right.
He's just picked an old face and a new suit, which is exactly what I'm hearing is going to happen here. It's going to be old face, new suit, little bit darker personality.
So it's not the 10th Doctor.
No, it's the 13th Doctor.
It's the 13th Doctor. So he's not going to be like if he bumps into previous companions as the 10th Doctor, he's not going to be the same.
He would remember them because the Doctor always remembers his past companions. But
he's not going the same Doctor.
Yeah, we're not going to see him kissing anyone or falling in love with women and companions. It's going to be still... there's going to be darker elements thrown in there for sure, but it's also... It's going to go back to being a lot of fun as well. It's going to be the essence of the 10th Doctor. Allons-y, all that sort of stuff.
So he's going to say Allons-y and all that stuff, probably?
I am sure they'll make reference to Allons-y within the first
basically it's probably going to be the 10th Doctor. He's been old. He's older though now, and he's had a lot of memories. I don't think it's
Doctor Who encyclopedias and on Wikipedia, and in terms of the official canon, it will be labelled the 13th Doctor. But at the end of the day, if you're a casual viewer, you will see the 10th Doctor on TV again.
Yes, it's basically the 10th. Okay, so now is this related to? Because here, as a 10th Doctor, he met someone that Peter Capaldi and Fires Pompeii. Later on, he chose that face. Is this going to be related to the regeneration with Capaldi, where Capaldi's going to be thinking about that instance where David Tennant's the 10th Doctor, he saved him, and at the last moment before regeneration, is that going to trigger the regeneration to regenerate back into an old face?
More or less, the Doctor's going to say, save me. Who saved this face before? And it's going to be the face who saved him a long time ago.
So he's going to go back to that. Because of the... So that's going to tie in better the reason why he chose the face, maybe, and it will kind of clear it up a little bit.
It's going to be some serious vanity issues, as made reference by in the time of the Doctor. That's going to be a comment made. This is the third time he's regenerated into this face.
Right, that's true. Because he kept
third
the face with Stone Earth. Right, yeah.
And I know that Olivia Coleman from Broadchurch will have some kind of a role in the show.
Okay, now her and Kris Marshal are husband and wife that are having trouble, supposedly, or no?
This is more speculation going around. Kris Marshal, the theory is that if he wasn't going to be the Doctor, he may have been the companion.
Okay.
Because for now, we've been used to the same old thing, a young girl in her early 20s, from London or whatever, being the companion. So basically, Chris Chibnall's decided, why don't we make the show kind of aimed at more of a middle-aged audience with a fun Doctor that the kids can relate to as well. So it's going to be a kind of a vibe similar to the dark kind of relationship between Billy Bob Thornton and Martin Freeman on Fargo, or more like Sherlock with Martin Freeman and Benedict Cumberbatch.
Okay.
Two middle-aged men solving crazy mysteries and trying to put their lives back together.
Right.
That's the speculation going around. But for now, the thing that is pretty much, in the bag is that the next Doctor will be probably... I'm hoping more than anything it's going to be David Tennant coming back.
Now, does this tie in anything to do with John Simm's master?
Yes, I told you this a long time ago on the show, and you didn't believe me. John Simm is the master again. It's not just a one-off. He is being set up for Chibnall's taking over of the show. They're setting it up where they reintroduce a former master so we can get back into the Tennant versus Simm stuff. Well, as you'll all know from the timeline, it doesn't theoretically make sense for John Simm's master to be there in the current state he is, because if we remember, his whole lifetime started in the Sound of Drums, where he first went to London, died. He was resurrected, and immediately after being resurrected, his energy force was burning up. He was dying.
And he probably regenerated into Missy, right? He
would have gone back to Gallifrey, but as we know, back on Gallifrey, there's no sign of the master, and all we have is Missy. So he would have regenerated because his body was dying. And as we see from the trailers and what we've been hearing, John Simm is completely alive as the master.
So now he's not the past master, he's a future master?
Well, either it's a case of... So this is the stuff that I'm not as sure about. I only know the stuff going on with Chibnall, but from what I can speculate going on in the finale, he's either a degeneration or the master escaped Gallifrey and lived an entire life before Missy. And we could well be seeing that entire life go face-to-face with Tennant before he regenerates into Missy later on in the future. And once that happens, then obviously we'll be getting Missy's run back with Capaldi, and then she will regenerate herself in this episode. So
Missy's going to become someone else we probably won't know.
Yes, but John Simm, they're leaving it open where he's had an entire life that we haven't seen. And throughout that life, he may come face-to-face with the Doctor once again, which will set him up for future appearances.
And he's going to be a villain, not a friend.
No, John Simm's going to be a villain, for sure. He's going to be wacky old John Simm.
Okay. I got to tell you, that would probably be the greatest Christmas present I've ever had. If that happened. David Tennant is my favorite. John Simm is my favorite. So that would be freaking awesome, I got to say. And I would lose my shit and everything would change completely. And I would be so... If you think about it, too, like, the Master, John Simm got to keep his face twice because he was resurrected, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, whatever way it plays out, if he, as Missy, decides to choose an old face also, Like maybe he appears with Missy, and then he goes away back to Gallifrey, and then she just decides to regenerate and choose the face again.
What I'm thinking is that in episode 12, she will degenerate, and that will be alluding to basically Capaldi will look at her and go, "How did you do that?" And she'll go, "I can pick an old face." And in the Christmas special, Capaldi will realise, "Hey, wait a minute! If Missy can do it, I can do it," and that'll lead to him degenerating to Tennant because he'll kind of get the idea that, wait a minute, maybe we can go back to what we used to look like.
But you know what, though? Here's the thing. Doctor Who is about being new and being fresh, but there's no rules. That's the thing people don't understand.
Yeah.
It's not a straight line. They don't have to keep becoming different doctors. They could go backwards in the future because there was at one point in time where I thought from the Two Doctors episode with Patrick Troughton and Colin Baker that second Doctor was not the second Doctor, that he revisited that face and he was an older version of the second Doctor. So it's that's what I always thought because he was an older.
The concept of the second Doctor being an older Doctor was being thrown around as a possible concept for the 50th anniversary special. That was going to be one of the that was the original idea, was to have a stand-in for Troughton. Which would be revealed that he was actually the Doctor seen in the Two Doctors, and that he went and picked up Jamie McCrinnan later in his life and travelled with him again.
Right.
And I'm
restored
sure
his memories.
Which would be a good venture anyway.
Yeah.
I'm sure if this degeneration thing happens, then we will likely be seeing more older Doctors popping up as future Doctors.
Right. Which I heard that the Christmas special is a rumor that there's 2 new Doctors in the Christmas special, the 13th and someone that's a little further out, or maybe the 14th. That Moffat is just going to make us go nuts.
Or the 10th/13th.
Right. So, I got to tell you, if this is true, because we got to take it with a grain of salt, but you heard it here first on the Whovians cast. Thanks to Hayden, Modern Age Nerd there. And I'd be completely 100% backing this move.
I can see it happening. Yeah.
Especially Russell T. Davies writing for Series 11.
Yeah, well, he's going to come back as a occasional writer. The reality is, say what you want, but we know behind the scenes that Russell and Moffat weren't exactly the best of friends once Moffat took over. That's why he hasn't written for the show since, because Moffat doesn't want to be overshadowed by a former writer coming in and taking his spotlight.
And also that he changed something that Russell T. Davies did that kind of pissed him off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Now here's Chibnall's chance of going,
I'm going to patch up everything. Russell T. Davies come back.
Covertly switch that stuff back by having Tennant back.
Chibnall wants to be known as the guy who saved Doctor Who from dying.
And he's going to be.
Good.
That's exactly what he's going to do.
Because
he's going to throw it right back to when it was at its peak.
And that's perfectly fine.
Because Moffat pretty much was running it to the ground.
Moffat had these stupid rules about the Doctor doesn't go backwards, doesn't revisit companions, doesn't do this. And that's the stupidest philosophy I've ever had. So now it's going to be reversed.
Anyway, is that he could travel anywhere and occasionally visit the past.
So now,
but Moffat just wants to do. It was such
now you reverse it. Now you have everybody coming back, and there's no rules. He could go visit Tika Javanka. He could go visit Martha. He could go visit Mickey. He could go visit Rose. To help with it, he'll be daring and create a whole.
I'd rather him see bring back more of the classic characters than.
So the odds are, Hayden, that if they do this move, that the possibilities are endless.
Yeah. That
people could just pop in like Rose or whatever, or Martha, and that's whatever. We could have
straight away. I don't think so straight away. I think this first series coming up is going to be new monsters. Maybe the Autons coming back in a 2-parter or something along those lines. I know Russell T. Davies wants to write an episode for the series 11 or 12, and I know that he is involved somehow as being a consultant. But but obviously he knows who the Doctor is.
Yeah.
So he's obviously not.
Yeah.
He doesn't shut his mouth, does he?
Yeah. That's okay.
And until Stephen
well,
Moffat comes
now
out
people are
and
going to
tells
know
us,
who the Doctor is thanks to us if that's the case. So,
Yeah.
oh well.
I mean, Kris Marshal is involved, and Kris Marshal could very well be the Doctor, or Kris Marshal could just be a side character, or you could be wrong about that completely, and Kris Marshal could have nothing to do with Doctor Who.
Like I said in previous shows, what if they have the Doctor, have the actor that plays him there, but for all intents and purposes, people think, oh, he's just an extra, and then it's revealed, oh, he is the Doctor.
Well, you explain this to.
Is that what the regeneration is going to be different? That's why they're saying the regeneration is going to be different than we've seen before, because it's going to be choosing the old face.
Well, I think he's going to be flicking back and forth through the Christmas special. He's going to be regenerating, but his body can't quite get used to it, so it's going to be Capaldi flicking back with the new Doctor, flicking back with Capaldi, back and forth.
So in other words, the regeneration's rejected?
Yeah, it's kind of the body's not quite used to it, and the regeneration process is flicking his face back and forth.
Ooh, that would be.
So what, a different face?
That might even explain the first Doctor being in the Christmas special. His face is flicking back and forth between his older selves.
Oh, that would be interesting to see. That one moment, and didn't even have to be. It could be any of the original 7, just randomly going back and forth.
So would they have the original Doctors in there, just like
Doctor's
popping in a regeneration scene, like, but older versions of themselves? Could they actually have all the actors that are around to just like do that? Like Capaldi becoming.
It's Doctor Who. I don't see why not.
So Capaldi could become Colin Baker for a couple of seconds, Sylvester McCoy, and it could go back and forth, whatever. And
as far as I know, look, I told you a long time ago I thought this was going to be the 12 Doctors of Christmas.
Yeah.
But I don't want to say. I'll be back in 1 sec. I'm just going to put some petrol on my car.
Yeah.
I'll be back with. I'll tell you something when I get back.
All right. Good. I'll mute you. Whatever for now. Okay.
All right.
So yeah, that would be.
That would be an interesting way of doing it, to where his face just kept.
So he goes from Capaldi to, like, maybe they'll get Matt Smith for a couple of seconds. They'll get all these things. It'll be like turning the dial, like Gamble. Who's going to be the face, and that's going to be boom.
Because remember in the 11th Hour and the Next Doctor, they always showed all those pictures of the Doctor. So all the faces, and then finally in the 11th, he steps through after, and then says, "I'm the Doctor." What if that's what they're doing? Showing with the new character. This is the thing: is that all these mentalities are trying to take. I don't want to say take over,
right?
But something's gone funky. They're just randomly.
They don't have enough regeneration energy to have a new form, so he has to go backwards.
Yeah, it's trying to.
And you're breaking up
backwards to try to fix something here. His regeneration is trying to over to where he's supposed to be.
Right.
And then finally, boom, we see the new.
And then one of the first lines. One of his first lines is, he's like, "I definitely didn't want to go. I'm back." Like, it's like,
oh God,
or something like that.
Oh
like,
God, no.
That would be the funniest thing ever.
Anything like that.
Right. Listen, I got to tell you, if this does happen, would be the greatest news. I think so. I mean, you don't have to have a new Doctor all the time. There's no rules. Moffat imbued this stuff in our head that we just got to flush out of our system, that you never go backwards. Bull crap. Go backwards. Go whatever. The hell with it. If the show is in jeopardy, friggin' the hell with it. David Tennant 5 more years? Absolutely.
I can see that. I can see
absolutely, man. I'm sorry. I don't care. Listen, I'm going to be stubborn, and I don't care what anybody says in this community.
It's pretty much the Star Wars theory. All of us who remember the original Star Wars look at New Hope as the first episode, as the first one. Where in reality, it's number 4 in the saga. Where with Doctor Who, technically Tennant played the 10th Doctor, but now he's actually a darker version, and
Like I said,
he's just a darker version of the 10th Doctor, but he's not the 10th Doctor.
Listen, like I said, I when it comes to my love for Doctor Who, right? Because people have said that I didn't like the season, and I didn't really. There's some episodes I liked, but if this is a way, if you're going to tell me,
revitalize the show, then go for it.
Well, like if you're going to tell me, hey, Matrix Lord, you know, what would you think if David Tennant became the 13th Doctor? I would like 1,000,000% say yes, and I wouldn't care what anybody said in this community because you know what, the ratings are crap.
Yeah.
And I don't want to cancel, and of course, I want my favorite Doctor in place. So I really don't give a rat's whatever when anybody thinks. I want David Tennant back. So, I mean, if it wasn't that way, okay, I'll see whoever the new Doctor is. But
what I was
I'm all
going
for
to
it.
ask is, if Matt Smith wasn't the 11th Doctor, do you think you could have worked out as the 13th instead?
No, but he's 11th. But it's just.
No, but I'm just saying, if they didn't choose.
No, I mean, I think David Tennant is a good move.
Have him be a later Doctor.
No, I think David Tennant's a good move. I think if he appeared again, it would be a good move. What's up, Hayden?
What's up?
Yeah.
All right.
So I think David Tennant's a good. Yeah.
Here's what I was going to say. You know.
Can't hear you. Can't hear you.
Sign what you have to say.
You know the competition going around, have breakfast with the Doctor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's 7 Doctors going to that breakfast.
Right.
They're all going to be in London at the same time.
Same time.
Do you know when the breakfast is going to be?
During
filming for the Christmas special.
Huh?
Filming for the Christmas special.
More or maybe. However, in the promotion for that video, who is the one whose face?
Who's the what?
Who's the one?
Who's the one promoting that?
I can't hear you. What?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Who's the what?
Okay. So who's the one who's promoting the Omaze? Yeah. Peter Capaldi's going to that breakfast. So why the hell is Peter Capaldi's face not promoting that competition?
Right. Right. Yeah. That's a good one, actually.
If Capaldi was really going to be the face of Doctor Who, which he's supposed to be, why the hell is David Tennant promoting the Doctor Who Foundation for charity? Because they know David Tennant will raise the most money out of the foundation. Right. They know David Tennant's face will get the most people to donate because they want to see him at the breakfast.
Right. You give me 20 David Tennant action figures as a Doctor, I will buy all 20. Like exactly, right. Yeah. Okay. Listen, I'll be friggin' the happiest friggin' Whovian there is, man, if that's the case.
Oh, I'll lose my shit if this is true.
Get it. I'll be so motivated to pop out friggin' book 13, 14, and 15. What are you, crazy?
I mean, did you have... we all have problems with Doctor Who now, but did we ever have this many problems back in 2009?
Absolutely not. I don't even think there was very hardly an episode that I disliked. And it was never even about David. So whatever, yeah. I don't care what anybody says. Give it to me. And then you know what? I'll be in my glory. I'll have my way. So yeah.
I think we'll be dying of happiness. I think it'll be great. And the actual storytelling possibilities of Chris Chibnall.
10 out of 10. It will be definitely 10 out of 10.
It'll be. Look how many awards Broadchurch has got. You know, think of that on BBC with Doctor Who.
Just give us the Candyman back. I'll be happy with David.
No more dark blue hallways and alien ships.
Right.
No more Kill the Moons.
Right.
Oh God, no.
No.
No more. Listen.
Sleep no more. No. No more.
No more. It's all done.
No more.
All done.
And no more crusty eye gunk.
Well, apparently they want to get James Corden back for an episode.
With Tennant or with Matt Smith?
Well, whatever is happening next year, they want James Corden back.
Why is there going to be? Are they going to have besides Series 11 a special?
Well, they got to have Craig come back. You know what I mean?
But he's got to be with Matt Smith, though. It can't be with David Tennant.
Well, we don't know. We know Gareth Roberts will probably be writing for next season, so.
So Mark Gatiss is out.
Mark Gatiss is out. I don't know. I'm going to say yes.
But he might, if he's not out, he'll be able to do whatever the hell he wants to do, other compared to what Moffat telling him no.
Uninhibited due to Moffat being gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen.
Moffat's not coming back anytime soon.
Moffat's going to probably be pissed off, probably.
Moffat's right out of the picture.
The ratings are going to be through the roof, and he's just going to be angry. He's going to be a bitter, angry person.
They need a bouncer in the writer's room, and if Moffat tries to show up, the bouncer tosses it out.
Is
Chris Chibnall was selected. What happened was with the show running, they knew they wanted to get rid of Moffat because ratings for Series 9 was so bad. Series 9 had the worst ratings in history since the 80s. It was so bad.
Wow.
And the BBC personally told Stephen Moffat, you have one more year to wrap it all up because all of his actors were under contract. Capaldi was under contract. Everyone was under contract for one more season. So he said, okay, we'll do it in 2017. I'll finish everything off. We'll do a new companion, and we'll try to. It was his last chance. In other words, Moffat, you've got one more chance.
And he failed anyway, though.
What if this deal with China was pretty much one of those? You get rid of Moffat, we'll be a willing partner. If you don't get rid of Moffat,
give us David Tennant. We'll give you 5.
What if the deal with China was with Mr. Ping down at Joe's shop?
Listen, you know what? Nobody says anything, but I was the first one.
They wanted to see Mr.
Wait a minute. I was the first one that mentioned China with that picture, the mystery mission, and the next thing you know, a couple weeks later, you have this deal, with the Series 15, and nobody said anything about it.
Back to the topic. We know the BBC's not doing so well financially, and Doctor Who, in its current position, is not helping the show out at all. They're not selling as much merchandise, and they're not selling enough. There's not enough advertisement we want about Doctor Who, because obviously there is no advertising on BBC during the show. So
thank you, God. I'm sorry. That's what I love. To me, when I switch on a TV show, I want to be able to watch a show and not pay a minute worth of ads.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
2 minutes worth of show.
But the BBC obviously are very well versed with Broadchurch and Chris Chibnall. So they basically went to Russell T Davies and said, who should we go to help the show out for the next, few years? And Russell T Davies was the one who suggested Chris Chibnall as the new showrunner.
Nice.
Okay.
And they basically said to David Tennant, what would make you come back to the show? And David Tennant would have said Russell T Davies or Chris Chibnall.
Well, there you go.
And as we all know, Broadchurch is absolutely finished. Chibnall's not doing anymore. Tennant's not doing anymore. And David Tennant, today, actually, I read this, said he has a top secret project he's not allowed to say anything about, and that people will flip their shit when they find out. So, there you go.
And it ain't Friday Night 2, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Ooh, he's playing Matt Smith. That's what he's doing. He's playing Matt Smith.
So actually, Matt Smith is actually under contract for second season of that The Crown or whatever it is, right?
Yeah, yes. Matt Smith signed up to do 2 seasons of The Crown, so
he is busy. He is busy. As much as we joke, he is busy.
I'm sure they would love to do that Matt Smith and Tennant 5-episode mini thing at one point.
Which
as
they
well.
may at this point. Now
they very well could. Very possible.
So
the doctor picked him up when he was on Trenzalore.
Will they wrap up Moffat's plot holes?
Moffat will. Remember the time of the Doctor where he tried to wrap up all of his plot holes
in a sentence?
Yeah, that's what he's going to try to do with this Christmas special. This is going to be Time of the Doctor Part 2, in other words. It's going to be exactly like Time of the Doctor.
So, Madame Kaveri and everybody, all the voice and the TARDIS, all that
stuff?
No,
it's going to be more Danny Pink, Clara, me, and Bill, and Nardal, and possibly River in their last appearance.
So they're going to explain why Nardal's the way he is?
Yeah.
And he's going to free River from the library, probably.
Maybe.
Like all about redemption, the hell with it, I'm the Doctor, if I can't save my wife, who the hell can I save?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know as much about the Christmas special as I should. I do know that Bradley, what's the actor's name?
David Bradley.
David Bradley will be in the Christmas special as the first Doctor, absolutely.
What about Susan?
Yes, I think that's happening. I think
Is
that's
it Carol Ann Ford, or is it the actress that played in Adventure in Space and Time?
no. It will probably be the actress that played her in Space and Time.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about Ian and Barbara from Adventure in Space and Time?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I think it will just be the first Doctor and Susan before, because you know Moffat, he loves to tamper with things. This will be before they go to 1963.
I was about to say, that's what I was thinking.
It'll be Moffat's last hurrah will be, I created the first ever Doctor Who adventure. It'll be the first ever adventure they have will be where they meet up with the 12th Doctor on Christmas. It'll be Christmas 1962, possibly, is what I'm hearing.
Oh, what a night.
And there will be some sort of Beatles reference or Beatles thing in there.
Wow.
So yeah, that's what I think. That's apparently what's going to be happening. The Christmas special will be Christmas 1962.
Okay.
It'll be when they got trapped with the TARDIS in the 60s.
Oh.
So in other words, maybe Capaldi's TARDIS crashes into their TARDIS, and then it takes the form of a police box because it sees that the future TARDIS is a police box. So.
Well, it's very possible, isn't it?
From my understanding from the original series, the Doctor's TARDIS was already there. It was already in the shop being worked upon, but
it was stuck in the form of the police box.
And it was stuck in the form. Yeah.
Maybe that will explain it. All right. We got like 2 minutes left. Thank you, Hayden, very much for this.
It's all good.
We'll be back.
Glad to help.
All right. Hopefully, everything we said comes true.
I'm crossing my fingers. As I said, I'm an idiot, so you don't have to take anything I say as fact. But
if it isn't David Tennant, it's Kris Marshal, maybe.
Not necessarily, but there's a 15% chance that it's Kris Marshal.
Okay. All right. A 95% chance or whatever, right? That it's Tennant, and then a few variances.
I'm set at about 90% that it's Tennant. I'm pretty
90%.
Yeah.
That's pretty high. All right, guys. You heard it here. Thank you, Hayden. Thank you, Scott.
All right, no worries.
Take care. Bye for now.